It's October 17th, 1989. Game 3 of the 1989 World Series between the Oakland A's and the San Francisco Giants. The ABC broadcast features Al Michaels and Tim McCarver going over their pregame routine until this presentation, we will explore not only the causes of this event, but the effects that it had on the people of the Western United States. What policies and procedures were implemented in order to mitigate the effects of future disasters? How was the community able to rebound after such a horrific tragedy that affected so many people? And all this and more will be answered as we analyze the 1989 San Francisco earthquake. The aftermath of the earthquake was startling. Many residents were displaced from their homes, wondering what had happened. The earthquake, caused by a slip movement across the San Andreas Fault, impacted 6 counties across a 60-mile radius. This left scientists curious. What could be learned from this event, and how can it be applied to future natural disasters? The answers to these questions came from research. According to the journal, Practical Lessons from the Loma Prieta by Kathleen J. Tierney and the National Research Council, the Loma Prieta earthquake was the most damaging earthquake to strike a major metropolitan area in the United States since the passage of the National Earthquake Hazard Reduction Act in 1977. This meant that scientists could get boots on the ground and begin to explore what had happened during and after the infamous shaking. First, scientists analyzed actions that the citizens took during the earthquake. According to the same journal by Tierney, evidence of the Loma Prieta earthquake suggests that Bay Area residents were aware of what to do when an earthquake strikes, and that even during the strong shaking period, they are capable of making decisions and taking actions to decrease their vulnerability. This notion is important, as it proves that education of hazards is important in mitigating injury and damages. If residents of an area prone to natural disasters, such as earthquakes, are knowledgeable of the potential situations, then they are more likely to take certain precautions that can save lives. Next, researchers studied the cases of the most significant injuries. Tierney notes that 42 of the 62 deaths attributed to the earthquake occurred in the collapse of a single structure, the Cypress Freeway. Most of the people that were on the freeway at this time were trying to reach safety, but failed to do so in time. This provides another important lesson that society can take away from the earthquake. Evacuating to a situation that could be less hazardous may increase the chances of death. Thus, as the San Francisco earthquake reveals, the best measure to take during shaking is to drop to the ground and take cover. Lastly, the responses the government and the community had over the following 2 months were something that should be imitated by future cities who experience such a tragedy. First, Tierney emphasizes that shelters remained open for 66 days after the earthquake, an extremely long period for a temporary shelter. This allowed those who were displaced to regain themselves after the disaster and find a place of permanent residence. Then, public transportation agencies became involved in intensive efforts to devise new transportation methods and routes that would bypass damaged connections in the system. These efforts allowed for people to have a sense of normality, even when the community around them was constantly changing. Overall, the most important lesson in the 1989 earthquake is the importance of education and preparedness. In years prior, the San Francisco Bay Area constantly ensured that the evacuation protocols and responses were up to date in the case of a potential disaster. These measures and precautions came to great use during that fateful day in October. The Loma Prieta earthquake occurred over 30 years ago. However, the effects are still felt throughout the area. One example of this was noted by NBC Bay Area, who illustrates that people across the state practice their earthquake preparedness during the Great California Shakeout. The earthquake drill, which reminds people to drop, cover, and hold, took place at 10:17 a.m., coinciding with the Loma Prieta anniversary. This drill shows that earthquakes still have a presence within the mind of not only the people who survived the experience, but all of those who continue to inhabit the area today. The Guardian notes that 30 years later, California will launch an earthquake early warning app, the first to cover the whole state. The app is in place to ensure that everyone is prepared when the next great earthquake comes along. The article also mentions that code for building structures have been strictly enforced since the disaster and continue to be regulated by the government. October 17, 1989, was a monumental day for the San Francisco area. The impacts that it had on the lives of its residents and the surrounding areas still echo even 30 years later. The San Francisco Business Times argues that there was still some positive to the disaster. Todd Johnson claims that freeways in San Francisco have been torn down, linking disconnected neighborhoods like Hayes Valley while spurring development in low-income areas. However, despite the changes the area has made, the Lower Pietra earthquake will continue to loom in the back of everyone's mind as the day the series stopped.
Allowing Jose Canseco to score, and he fails to get Dave Parker at second base, so the Oakland A's take.
I'll tell you what, we haven't heard.